Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, I'm just here to give you an update on this search for Celine, um, Celine Cremer, who went missing, didn't she? 2.5 years ago, this poor girl went missing in Tasmania. And very recently, sort of private searchers who were looking for her because, over the years, there have been many searches made for Celine, and of course, primarily by the police, but she just was not found. And the terrain where she disappeared near the waterfalls in Tasmania, it's now I think it's important to say it was not a difficult walk. It's not a walk that was completely remote. People take their families there. The Philosopher Falls in Tasmania. And so it's not thought that Celine, went some obscure place, but it's possible that she went off the track. There's a track. It's possible she went off the track for whatever reason. I mean, there are lots of reasons people might go off the track to take a different photo. She might have been distracted by an animal. There may have been a person involved in Celine's disappearance. Did she go off the beaten track because she was worried about somebody? Did she bump into the wrong kind of person on there? Those are all possibilities, I suppose. Anyway, the good news, if you like, if you can call it good news, is at least now she has been found after 2.5 years of agony, really, isn't it, for a family of not knowing what's happened to her. And although it is, of course, the worst possible scenario, is probably what they've thought for quite a long time, that Celine, unfortunately, some harm had come to Celine, either accidental or foul play. And now at least they're going to get the opportunity to bring their girl home. They know where she is, that she's not, suffering, etc. All the things you can only imagine, the kind of things that will have gone through Celine's family's heads over 2.5 years of not knowing what had happened to her. So at least now they know that she is at peace and they can bring her home. So anyway, some remains were found which haven't been forensically tested yet, but the police seem to be, what's the word, confident, if you like, that they are of Celine. And then the police went in and started searching the area. And that's what I'm going to give you an update on, because they did find more things. So they have now called off the search, but that doesn't mean to say they're never going to go back and search again, does it? It suggests to me that maybe they feel they have all of Celine now, all of the things that she perhaps had with her, and so they don't need to do any future searches. I would imagine, when they get the remains back to the forensic laboratory, they will then be able to know if this is a complete set of remains, and if it's not a complete set of remains, I imagine they will go back and try and make it a complete set of remains. I don't think them calling off the future searches at the moment means that they're never going to go back there. So they have found more bones and clothing, and the police have made the statement saying at this stage the search will not resume tomorrow. So they've halted search efforts after more bones and items of clothing were found in the search for missing Belgian backpacker in Tasmania's west coast. A polar fleece jacket believed to have belonged to Celine was found on Friday, along with what investigators believe to be further human remains found along a section of the Arthur River near Waratah. After future searches on Saturday turned up no new discoveries, police have made the decision to call off future searches as they reassess their investigation. Now, yeah, I would imagine then that is a case of getting all those finds back to the forensic laboratory, and find out, have they got everything that they would expect to get? If not, they'll definitely be back. So Friday's discovery comes only days after volunteer searcher Jared Boyes found the remains on Wednesday during an independent search for Cremer. He had been part of a large volunteer search effort for the 31-year-old, led by filmmaker and YouTuber Rob Parsons. Parsons' team found the first significant sign of Cremer in 2 years when they came across her mobile phone and what is believed to be a makeshift shelter in December. Yeah, that was the makeshift shelter. Sounds like a lot more than it was. A bag, wasn't it? Like a plastic bag with a hole in it that, and there was a bottle of water. So it just makes you wonder. So did she get lost and build a shelter herself? And as I say, when they say a makeshift shelter, I mean it was literally a bag. It wasn't even, you know, did she get lost, go off the beaten track, couldn't find her way back to the beaten track, and then, have to just try and hide from the elements? And so, this is quite possibly a case of misadventure for this. Now, will we ever know? I mean, that's another thing. Will we ever know for sure? So we don't know. Hopefully, the forensic team will be able to establish a cause of death. Is if there's no fractures or signs of obvious violence. Is it possible that this is just some terrible, terrible accident? And it just goes to show, I think, as I talked about on a previous video, I don't think people should stop doing these things and going to these trails even on their own if they want to. But I think you have to have some system put in place, because Celine was not reported missing for 10 days. Because she's an adult, she was out there, her parents knew, she was out there doing her thing, her friends knew, but they won't have known that she'd gone missing. Do you see what I'm saying? If like she had an arrangement with her parents or one of her friends, right, every evening at 8 o'clock, I'm going to ring you just to confirm I'm okay. And if I don't ring you at 8 o'clock or within a couple of hours, something's wrong. So you can have these sort of contingent, because if the alarm would have been raised earlier, they may have even found Celine alive, but certainly, if nothing else, they would have found her more quickly. They would have a better idea of what happened to her, even if sadly she would still have been deceased when they found her. Do you see? So 10 days later, so much more difficult to find somebody. So she'd been on a solo bushwalk at Philosopher Falls near Cradle Mountain on June the 17th, 2023, when police believe she left the track to take a direct route back to her car as daylight began to fade. Another thing I'd just like to say to anyone, don't try and take shortcuts. This is like Jay Slater, lots of different cases. You're always tempted. If it was going dark, she'd be tempted to take what she thought was a shortcut. Don't go off the tracks. Do not go off the tracks, because it's so easy. This is an ongoing night I've dreamt. It's like a recurring nightmare I have. Haven't had it for a while actually, but at one point I was having it quite often, where I would dream that I was somewhere where I wasn't familiar with the area and it was going dark, or I'd got on the wrong bus and got off somewhere where I didn't know where it was, and I was thinking, how am I going to get home? It's like a reoccurring nightmare that I've had many, many times, various different ways. So yes, sometimes it is tempting to take the shortcut, but in sort of situations like this, it's not. Even though it might take longer, stick to the road, stick to the tracks, Take longer, but you'll get home at least. So her vehicle was later found in the car park, but she was not reported missing 9 days later. So this is the problem. This goes back to what I was saying. Make sure people know where you are, and they know every day. If you don't contact them at a certain time, arranged time, send out the alarm bells. That's important. If you're going to do these kind of things, which why shouldn't people go on solo treks and things? I'm not in, I don't want to say to people, oh, don't live. You've got to live, but you've got to live with caution. So yeah, Friday's discoveries were made during continued search efforts into the same area where human remains were found. Now you can see there's river there. Difficult, very difficult to search. The guy that found Celine, he is a hiker himself. He knows the area and he followed his instinct, didn't he? And he went where he thought he would go. He sort of followed his nose in a way, like not literally, but like just thought, where would I go? What's the easiest way to go? And he gathered that Celine would have gone the easiest way, but the easiest way is not always the safest way. So our police search and rescue experts were winched into the area by helicopter this morning, about 2.5 kilometres from Philosopher Falls, to conduct a detailed line search of the river, he said. Friday's search resulted in the discovery of more bones as well as clothing items, including a polar fleece jacket that we believe are likely to belong to Celine. And he said that forensic confirmation of identity still needs to take place and may take some time. But the location and nature of the items found today indicate that they are likely to be Celine's. So for 2.5 years, that poor girl, her remains have just been lying there by the sound of it, just waiting to be found. But thank God they have been found. He said, while it's unfortunate we've not located any further items today, our crews have searched extensively over the past 2 days, and the discoveries made yesterday remain significant. At this stage, the search will not resume tomorrow with a plan to reassess the situation. So yeah, they've got to see what they've got there. Are they likely to find anything else? And 100% certain that if they think they're likely to find other things, they'll go back. And they said they understood how significant the developments were for Celine's family and were ensuring they receive updates as sensitively and promptly as possible. We understand the strong public interest in this case and will continue to provide information to the community when we are able to. So yeah, I just wanted to give you that update. She's going to go home. This girl, they're going to be able to take her home at least. Well, it won't be immediate, but it's comforting. It's got to be it's cold comfort, I know, but she's going home, so that's good. I will let you know any updates, of course. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, to subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God, as always, go with you. Bye.